Hello everyone and welcome to Hoopsaga channel. Today we're unpacking episode 5 of Solo Leveling, a descent into betrayal, a dungeon full of secrets, and the moment Jinwoo stops being a pawn. We open at the hospital, where the nurses can't stop talking about that one E-rank hunter. His face? Moderately attractive. His physique? Completely transformed. When he first arrived, he was scrawny, nothing special. But after intense, relentless training, his body was now chiseled and powerful. During visiting hours, one nurse blushed as she caught sight of Jinwoo's toned frame. She knew he was being discharged that day, so she worked up the courage and shyly asked for his contact information, pretending she needed it for follow-up medical results. Jinwoo, thinking they might genuinely need to send him test results, agreed and exchanged details without a second thought. That morning, the news featured a very special guest, Baek Yoonho, one of South Korea's 7S rank hunters. The program gave viewers a peek into a hunter's life outside the gates, and it revolved entirely around constant, brutal training. In one demonstration, Baek Yoonho casually shattered a massive rock with a single punch. The explosive sound echoed through the training room, but his staff didn't even flinch. That was just a normal Tuesday. Meanwhile, Gina, Jinwoo's younger sister, was watching the program but quickly turned off the TV when she realized it was time for school. Even she found it hard to believe how much her brother had changed, especially his height, wondering if it was just part of a sudden growth spurt. Jinwoo had wrapped up all his tasks for the day, all except his daily run, which he decided to do later. With remaining stat points from leveling up, he carefully distributed them between speed and intelligence. Just then, his phone rang. It was his landlord, reminding him about his overdue rent. Scrolling through his phone, he searched desperately for well-paying jobs. But as an E-rank hunter, high-level gates were completely off-limits. He thought about getting his rank reassessed, but quickly shut the idea down. If the world discovered he could level up, it would bring endless unwanted attention. Instead, he planned to jog to the construction site of his new mission, cleverly completing his daily run task along the way. Missing even one daily mission was not an option. Later that day, a group of hunters geared up to raid a C-rank dungeon. One of them recognized Jinwoo instantly, the so-called weakest hunter in humanity. In truth, he had only been recruited to meet the required headcount. An E-rank hunter's combat strength was considered completely unnecessary. The dungeon demanded at least 8 participants, with more than half being E-ranks. Since Jinwoo wouldn't be fighting, he wouldn't get a share of the loot. However, the contract guaranteed full payment just for filling the team's quota. His role? Carry supplies and medicine. Nothing more. Jinwoo was stunned to learn the team didn't have a healer. Offensive teams like this often struggled to recruit one, so they'd simply go in without, and the contract plainly stated the team wouldn't be responsible for any accidents inside. Then, a flashy young man introduced himself, Yoo Jinho, a 21-year-old D-rank hunter. His high-end gear screamed wealth. He reassured Jinwoo immediately, promising to protect him and make sure his first C-rank dungeon experience was safe. Jinho then asked if Jinwoo's gear was heavy and told him not to be too formal since he was younger. An unexpected flicker of kindness. As the team approached the dungeon, they noticed something strange. The entrance was unusually massive. Some doubted it was really a C rank, but the association had already investigated twice and confirmed its classification. A dungeon's rank was determined by emitted mana waves, not the size of its gate. Higher-ranked dungeons were typically the territory of major guilds. When they stepped inside, complete darkness swallowed them. No glowing stones, no ambient light. Jinho tried to recall everything he'd learned about mana ores and dungeon environments. They walked a considerable distance without encountering a single monster, and Jinwoo's instincts flared. Closing his eyes, he focused, and picked up a faint sound from above. He realized the monsters were likely insects and warned the others. Panic erupted as the noise grew louder, but no one could pinpoint the source. Jinwoo, listening intently, discovered the sound was coming from a hole in the ceiling. Moments later, a massive swarm of ants descended upon them. The hunters snapped into combat mode, shooting down insects one by one. Jinho stayed glued to Jinwoo's side, determined to protect him. The C-rank leader used a provocation skill, drawing the entire swarm toward himself and allowing the team to divide and conquer. The mage focused, gathering mana before unleashing a devastating fire spell that incinerated a huge chunk of the ants. This was a well-oiled team, executing their strategy flawlessly, though the absence of a healer remained a gnawing concern. After the battle, the leader began distributing magic stones, dividing them into 7 portions. He even thanked Jinwoo for detecting the swarm so early. But a closer inspection of the ant corpses revealed something unsettling: some bore wounds that weren't caused by swords or fire. It looked like something had been gnawing on them. This discovery hinted at a much more powerful monster lurking deeper inside, one that viewed these ants as mere food. Jinwoo quietly asked Jinho about the cost of his sword and shield, and Jinho confirmed they were extremely pricey. His father had bought him top-tier equipment to guarantee a smooth first raid. Jinwoo warned him to stay cautious. As they pressed deeper, the path stretched on, eerily long and empty. Jinwoo's suspicions intensified. It was strange for such an experienced group to lack a healer, especially with their long-standing reputation. Soon, they found themselves surrounded by dying and already dead ants. They had no choice but to locate the boss monster to open the exit. The mage created a light source, easing the tension slightly. Ahead, massive spider webs came into view, the unmistakable sign of a boss room. Inside, they discovered an immense hoard of mana ores. While not as valuable as magic stones, the sheer quantity meant they were worth billions. The leader was ecstatic, believing this wealth would finally allow their team to step out of his brother's shadow. His teammates, however, seemed hesitant, their eyes shifting. Jinho, well-versed in legal matters, asked to see Jinwoo's contract. After reviewing it, he pointed out something critical: the agreement only mentioned loot obtained from monsters, not raw mana ores. That meant Jinwoo was entitled to a share. The leader smiled and agreed, but insisted they first figure out how to transport the ores since the portal would close once the boss was defeated. Unbeknownst to Jinwoo and Jinho, the leader had other plans. He and the others left the boss room, claiming they were grabbing equipment. But the moment they were outside, the mage cast a spell and sealed the entrance with rubble. Jinwoo's mind instantly flashed back to every warning he'd ever heard about hunters killing for profit inside dungeons. No cameras, no witnesses, anything could happen without consequence. Jinho was in complete disbelief, unable to process that they would murder for such a small cut of mana ores. And then, the boss monster awakened. Jinwoo's mindset shifted in an instant. Compared to everything he'd survived, this challenge was nothing. He turned to Jinho and assured him, with absolute calm, that he would handle the dungeon boss. Reaching into his inventory, he pulled out Kasaka's Venom Fang. The blade gleamed, and the real fight was about to begin. And that's where we leave off for episode 5 of Solo Leveling. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for the latest updates. Hoopsaga loves you all.